Hello fellow plant enthusiasts, I'm Steven from Steve's Propagation Corner, and today we're back with another installment of
The Foliage Files.
We've all seen it, or maybe even done it. You bring home a few houseplants, tuck them away wherever there's space, maybe keep them in their original pot, and call it a day. But something feels off. It's not the plants themselves, it's how they're styled. Because no matter how much love or money you pour into your collection, poor styling can make even the most beautiful plants look, well, sheep. So today we're going over 10 common mistakes that may be dragging down your plant aesthetic, and more importantly, how to avoid them. Now, I'm not an interior designer or anything.
Who the hell do you think you are? You any kind of artist?
Just a fellow plant lover sharing personal tips that have made a big difference in my own space.
And I'm an NYU film school graduate. Sucker!
Let's elevate your indoor jungle into something that feels polished, intentional, and yes, effortlessly expensive. Thank you for joining me. Let's get started. Let's start with the obvious, pots. Pots are like the picture frames of the plant world. And just like a bad frame can ruin a painting, the wrong pot can cheapen a plant instantly. When you've got clashing colors, different styles, or leftover nursery plastic, it doesn't feel curated. It feels chaotic. Then there's sizing. A pot that's too small makes your plant look cramped and awkward. Too big and it looks like it's swimming in a bowl. And while plastic has its place, it rarely brings a sense of style. Instead, think of pots as part of the overall design. Choose materials and tones that complement each other. Ceramics, terracotta, matte finishes, and even concrete. When the pot and the plant feel like a team, everything changes. It's tempting, especially when you love plants, to collect them like treasures, piling them onto every surface, filling corners until there's no space left to breathe. But too many plants in one area doesn't say lush, it says cluttered. And when plants are jammed together, they don't just look messy, they suffer, competing for light, airflow, and attention. The solution: let your plants breathe. Give them space to shine. Curate your collection like you would a gallery wall. Leave room for each one to make a statement. Group thoughtfully, not frantically, and always remember that less is usually more. Proportion might be one of the most overlooked styling principles, but it's also one of the most powerful. Imagine a tiny pothos in a giant floor planter.
That's quite big.
Or a towering bird of paradise in a dinky little pot.
Ooh, that's kind of small.
Neither feels quite right. Balance matters, and your eyes know it, even if you can't always explain why. So, when you're styling your plants, think about how they relate not just to their pots, but to the space around them. A tall plant deserves a grounded pot where you can stand proud. A petite one belongs on a shelf like it's on display. It's not just about fitting, it's about belonging. Here's where things get personal. Not every plant has to be a rare collector's item, but if your entire collection is made up of the same basic greens, it can start to feel uninspired. Don't be afraid to introduce some drama. Go for plants with sculptural leaves, unexpected color, or trailing habits. Something that makes people stop and ask, what is that? Mixed textures. Think about how a velvety begonia plays off a glossy rubber plant. How a delicate fern balances the boldness of a monstera. Plant styling is more than keeping things alive, it's creating visual poetry. Even if you've got beautiful plants in beautiful pots, something can still feel unfinished. That's because styling is in the details. Think about a well-dressed room. It's not just the furniture, it's the pillows, the rugs, the art. Plants deserve the same treatment. Top dressing like moss, stones, or bark can instantly elevate the look. And personal touches like a vintage tray or a handmade saucer make it feel like your space.
Vintage. So adorable.
It's not just about adding stuff, it's more about creating an atmosphere. This one is part styling and part survival. Because nothing cheapens the look of a plant faster than sad, leggy growth or yellowing leaves. Often, it's not neglect, but poor lighting. A plant that's constantly reaching for the sun loses its shape, its color, its health, and yes, its beauty. The fix? Learn your space. Bright indirect light works wonders for most tropicals. Low light areas? Lean into snake plants, CCs, or philodendrons. Put the right plant in the right spot and it will thank you by looking amazing. It's not just the plants themselves, it's where they're placed. Stuffing them onto every available surface next to keys, mugs, and tangled chargers turns your plants into background noise. Your styling loses its power when it's fighting with clutter. So, elevate your green companions. Use floating shelves, wall planters, or hanging baskets. Designate a corner just for them. Personally, I have disciplined myself to limit my plant collection to a specific section of our home. And if I'm at my limit, then I'll avoid bringing in new plants. And if I do decide to expand into a new area, I make sure it's a space where that one plant can truly shine. Let them have their moment, because a plant in a well-composed space, that's when it sings.
Well done, Mama.
Even with great plants and great pots, a setup can still fall flat. Literally. If everything sits at the same level. When all your plants are the same height or the same shape, your display lacks rhythm. It feels static. To fix this, think like a landscape designer. Use layers. Let trailing vines spill over shelves. Put taller plants on the floor, elevate smaller ones on stools or plant stands, and mix big leaves with delicate fronds and upright growers with low spreading ones. It's contrast that makes a composition come alive. This one's simple and powerful. Dust on leaves doesn't just block light, it makes your plants look neglected.
Ew.
Even if they're healthy, they appear sad.
If you want your plants to look good, you need to use a plant mister to clean your leaves. Spray the leaf with your mister, tap water is fine. Gently wipe with a microfiber cloth or microfiber gloves. Really though, look at this. Dusty leaf, clean leaf. It's like a whole new plant.
The same goes for pots. Water stains, soil smudges, or cracked edges can undo all your other styling efforts. Make it a habit to wipe down your leaves regularly and clean your pots with care. Show your plants off like you're proud of them, because, well, you are. Finally, think of your plants not as decorations, but as part of your home story. If your space is modern and minimalist, a ruffled calathea in a hot pink pot might feel out of place. If you're more boho, maybe you're going for warm tones, organic textures, and wild shapes. There's no one right answer. But when your plants match the mood of your space, it feels intentional. It feels designed, and nothing about that feels cheap. And there you have it, folks. If your plants haven't been feeling as magical as they should, maybe it's not your plants. Maybe it's the styling. Avoid these common mistakes and suddenly your space will start to feel pulled together, elevated, alive, and the best part, you don't need designer pots or rare collector plants. Just a bit of thought, some intention, and willingness to see your plants not just as greenery, but as part of your home's soul. Okay. I'd love to hear which mistakes you've been guilty of or which ones are you excited about fixing. Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and or learned something new, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and for those who want to go the extra mile in supporting this mission, you can consider becoming a Patreon or a channel member by clicking the join button under this video or one of the other links that are down there, and you can access exclusive content and perks. Thank you for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you all in my next video. Remember, keep growing, keep thriving. See you in the next video. Thanks for joining me.